One of the issues that occurred this week, as most of you have heard, is the decision, the law passed by the Congress, the US Congress this past week, by the Senate and the House of Representatives, in which the Congress agreed to pass a legislation that hold countries responsible for terrorist attacks on the US soil to pay the consequences of their own actions. A law called JASTA. Now, everybody knows that this law was lobbied by the victims, by the families of the victims of 9/11 attacks. Over 9,000 individuals signed petitions as family members of the victims and some injured people as plaintiffs to pursue justice with the sponsors of terrorism on American soil. Now, obviously, the main country that is going to be scrutinized and there will be a lawsuit against is Saudi Arabia. There have been so much talk since 9/11, since 15 years, about the Saudi role in those attacks. Whether there are connections and there are ties between the Saudi government and the perpetrators of the attacks, this is something that will remain to be seen in the future. We don't know. There are some indications and there are some claims that Saudi Arabia was responsible for those attacks, or at least there are some officials in the Saudi government having ties with the perpetrators of the attacks. Now, I have two comments to make. The first comment is, why now? Those attacks took place in 2001. We're in 2016. Why those American lawmakers waited for 15 years to indict the Saudi government? Why they waited that long to speak about the Saudi role in these attacks? Isn't that a question that many people should ask? How come you waited 15 years? You have been silent all these years. No one talked about the Saudi role on the Saudi engagement all these years. Now, all of a sudden, after 15 years, 97 senators, US senators, and 348 congressmen found out that Saudi Arabia may have some ties with the terrorists. Many people believe that this is not about the Saudi role. Rather, Saudi served its role. Saudi has no more interest for the United States. Saudi Arabia supplies the world with over 12 million barrels of oil every day. It's been over 10 years that the United States is pursuing a new policy, and that policy is not to be dependent on the Saudi oil anymore. And that's why now they are talking about the Saudi role. If Saudi government is involved in these attacks, then they should have been held accountable long time ago. But now that there is no use for the Saudi role, there is no use for the Saudi oil anymore, now they are talking about holding Saudi Arabia responsible, which means that it is about money and it's about exploiting the situation.